Look at that. Welcome back, fellow tightliners. I am out on another stream here, just fishing another tiny little stream. I am, as of late, just trying to find trout outside of the big name streams and you know, Class A streams and stuff like that. So I'm trying to hunt down some wild browns. I'm hopeful to do that using some streamers today. I've been kind of committed to throwing some larger profile flies. I wouldn't say 100% committed on this small stream, but definitely in all the likely runs where bigger fish might hold. So we're going to throw some articulated sculpins at it, some headbangers, and just maybe some Creel X. But in general, going to throw some larger flies than usual today. So not the basic tight line setup. So hopefully that'll be something new for you. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd really hope that you will consider doing that, because essentially every episode what I'm trying to do is explain a couple new tactics to you, maybe explain the mono rig or teach people about how to approach the water or set up you know, different presentations. So I greatly appreciate all of the people that are subscribed, and if you haven't already, just click down on the bottom left and join the channel. So I appreciate everybody's support. Look forward to putting some fish on film for you today, and thank you for tuning back in. So I love this spot right here. I've got this undercut kind of old root system, and then I've got this nice channel that you know, should hold probably a decent fish in it, and it looks like it's probably 3 or 4 feet deep. So we're gonna pitch up to the top of it, see if anything comes out to play. There we go. Just, oh darn, had him. He hit it and missed it, and then swiped it again, and I got him the second time, but he came off the hook. So he was in there. Ah, second one that we missed. Darn. You're not gonna get more than 2 chances out of this hole, I don't think. That's unfortunate, and I stung both of them, so that's gonna put them down. Oh, that was a nice fish in there. All right, so there was an even bigger fish sitting on the inside of that root system than the 2 that I missed. The one that I just missed was probably closer to 16 or 17. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this off, and I'm gonna put on a Creel X. I didn't sting that one, but he did come up and hit it. So I'm gonna give this guy a different presentation than what he just saw, and see if that makes a difference. All right, so we're back in action with this Creel X. We're gonna try to put it right back in that spot where that big guy is. What's cool about the Creel X is just the amount of flash that this little thing produces. It is something that really pops in the water, and I've had some pretty cool aggressive strikes with it. So let's see if you know, that big boy will come back out to play one more time, since we didn't quite get him the first. All right, so little switch and a fish comes out to play. That was not the one that I missed, but you know, it was, well, could have been one of the ones that I missed, but was not the one that I switched the lure for. That guy was much, much bigger. All right, so there he goes. Want to get him back in. Oh. Downstream he goes. So he popped right in that same spot as that big fish, but I don't know how much that's going to disturb the hole, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But if that was a new fish, that's 4 fish in that hole that were in there ready to eat. Just gonna swing this right across and drop it in as soon as we hit our spot. Bingo. There we go. There we go. That's the big one. That is absolutely the big one I was talking about. Just got to keep him out of that root ball one more time. There's really no good way of doing this. Okay, so I'm not worried about the line. I got 1X on. It's really just the hook pops out. That's my only real fear here. This is a really, really nice fish. All right, we're gonna reel it in a little bit more. All right, come on, bud. Oh, I should have just lifted that head and brought him right towards me. All right. Come on. Oh man, these big boys just do not come in easy. Oh man, that is a stunner of a fish. Stunner. Woo! This one, I'm gonna put him right around 17. So huge, fat, healthy fish, but not 20. That's okay. I mean, just look at that fish. Big, thick, wild brown. Just absolutely what you came to the stream for today. I mean, just look at that fish, guys. He is just a stout 17-inch wild brown from this small little stream, and just super privileged to have gotten the chance. I mean, that Creel X just fell out of his mouth here a second ago. So this stupid simple Creel X fly, just a little barbell weight system right up on the head, some brown and gold flash, it does the trick. So, you know, here I was throwing a black articulated sculpin in there, you know, moved a couple fish, stung two smaller ones, and realized that you know, maybe it was time to give something else a shot and see what happens. And sure enough, you make a switch, and next thing you know, you got 2 fish in the net. So that's pretty awesome. I'm at a nice juicy little spot here where I believe an even bigger fish could hold. You've got a massive system of, you know, roots and fallen trees and just stuff that's been wiped down. So, you know, I'm gonna chuck this Creel X again, and I'm gonna try to jig it, not from the top yet, but from the back side where it's deepest, and see what we can get to come out and play. The only downfall is, you know, again, are you gonna get the biggest fish? So we'll see. We're gonna try it out, but I have a feeling there could be a substantial fish in here. But we are upstream for a hook set, so that does make things a little bit more challenging, but nevertheless, we're gonna try and see what we get. Okay, now if anything hits, we're gonna pop it over. We're gonna have to pop it over that branch. What did I say? Now we gotta keep him out of that root, because that is a friggin' mess. That's what that is. That is exactly what that is. So I want him up in this shallow stuff, because I was already lucky enough to be able to get him to swipe over the top of that branch. That part in itself was a little bit of luck. Got good side pressure on. Gonna get him just a little bit ahead of me. There we go.
Another 15, 16-inch fish to the net. Woo! Man, we're having a day, and I've only been on the water for 35, 40 minutes. So check this puppy out. Another just slab of a wild brown.
Look at that. All right, we're gonna get this guy back in. I wanna get him. All right, so that's gonna be 2 really nice wild browns on this Creel X streamer. It's a pattern that you can't really find that much of. You kind of have to search around a little bit on the internet for it, but there are definitely some stores that do sell it. I think, honestly, if I'm not mistaken, one of them is Cold Creek Outfitters or Cold Creek Fly Fishing Shop down in Virginia. I want to say that's correct, but I could be wrong. But anyway, that's been the go-to bait today, or fly I should say, because I've now nailed in every little place where there should be a wild brown trout sitting in a undercut or something that holds some depth. That's 2 fish. So I got real lucky, because where that fish took, he was on the back side of a branch that was literally at the top of the water column. So when I dropped my fly on the other side of that branch, he hit, and I had to immediately pop him up. So luckily he was in the midst of kind of like a death roll and trying to turn on that fly. Had he just caught, hit that fly and took it straight down, I'd have had a really difficult time popping him out of there. So a little bit of luck and a little bit of fish IQ, if you will, and now we're up to 2 15 to 17-inch fish. So let's keep going. Here's our next little run. This one's got a mild amount of depth to it. I didn't get a good hook set on this guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he pops off. But another nice little wild brown. Pop him up into the net. Gorgeous little fish, holding right where he's supposed to be. My hands are still wet from the last one. I haven't gone but 30 yards. Get you back in. Let that wound heal. All the channels I've been fishing previously in the deep stuff have been approximately 3 or 4 feet deep. So this doesn't quite have that depth. However, here's what it does have. You've got a feeding lane of channel or current coming right down in, and then another one right up there. Those 2 lanes converge to create just enough of a little, bucket or a little bit of a deep trough for a fish to hold. So I immediately cast up where the 2 lanes converge, drop it down in, bring it down the stream a little bit, jigging it off the bottom, boom, there he was. So, just a little bit of the thought process for why I fished, the spots that I have and how that's yielded me fish. Because honestly, sometimes it truly isn't about the fly. It's more so about just putting in the right location and giving a good drift. This, lane of current kind of creates an undercut. There could be something hanging in there, so we're going to see if we can't go along the edge of it and pop something out. But that is a lot to ask to get a good drift in there without getting hung up. But hook up or hang up sometimes has got to be the motto. Get in there and try to get a fish and hook up, or hang up in the brush. So nothing that time. I gave it 3 good drifts right through there. Here's another tip for you. When I'm on these small streams, I will not spend more than 3 to 5 good drifts in one spot. I might hit this current right here 3 to 5 times, that current 3 to 5, and I'm gone. I am moving up the stream. I am fishing hard. I am gonna get to as many good spots as possible. Some guys might just keep changing flies, or maybe try little by little, maybe make 10 to 15 casts. I want to maximize my time on the stream and hit as many juicy spots as possible. And you may disagree with that, and respectfully I can understand why, but my mantra is much different. 3 to 5 good drifts with a streamer, and on to the next. Coming up on a real nice deep hole where I think a big fish should be hiding. So we're gonna edge our way up, pitch this thing in, and see if we can't coax another nice wild brown into the net. Okay, not quite the fish I thought we might get into here, but I'll be honest, we're just here to catch fish, and at this point we've got some nice ones in, so we'll take what we can get. Let's wet our hands. It's been a minute. All right, there he goes.
back in. Hopefully not to ruin the hole, but we'll see. I do think there is a nicer fish in there, so I'm gonna give this Creel X another go of it and see if a bigger one doesn't come out and play. And if not, we'll switch on to an articulated streamer and see if we can't, you know, entice something a little larger. Nice fish. So we've been kind of chasing the deeper holes, but we would have missed. Ooh, we gotta change the drag. He's making making himself look like a trophy instead of a little light. It's not his fault, it's mine. It's the angler's fault. So anyway, we've been skipping over a lot of these, not skipping them, but not hunting the riffles. Let me wet my hands before I get this guy. And sure enough, we would have missed this fish. So glad that we stopped, and good to put another one in the net. Another pretty fish. I gotta get over there. Oh. Woo. Let's put him in the net. Oh, I did not envision that going the way it did, but that was awesome. I definitely envisioned the take being the way it was. That part doesn't surprise me. I just didn't expect to as quickly get that thing breached on the bank. That part caught me by surprise. So there he is, big dangling sex dungeon out of his mouth. We're gonna get him off. That sounded terrible. Switched up to a double nymph rig. Here I am using a Syndicate 3-weight 10-foot rod with a Lamson liquid reel 4.5. I've got on my mono rig. I'm using a double nymph rig for now, and I've got on a little green, almost like a merging caddis or blowtorch down the bottom. It's from Lively Legs. And then I've got on a hare's ear that's got a mottled tungsten bead head that I tied. So I want to see if I can maybe entice some wild browns off the bottom with one of those two flies. We'll see what happens here as we go through some of the slower water. So I was caught up on the bottom, and that's when this little guy took. So he's got a little deeper than usual too. There we go. See you, bud. Down he goes. That was a nice fish, and I didn't even mean to get him. I was just jigging the flies almost like it was coming off the bottom, and was able to get this really good looking fish. That's cool. Hooks are already out. Almost looks like a Lock Haven brown. Let's get him back in. Picked up another little wild brown. So, switching over some flies and changing up the tactics has yielded a lot more fish. Not necessarily huge fish, but has yielded more fish. And when you come to a stream, your main goal is just to honestly catch fish. So I'm not mad at the size. I'm just happy that the tactics are working and we're putting fish right where they're supposed to be in my net. So I got hung up on the bottom again. That's why this brown is on the top fly. It seems like they just really like getting these flies whenever they're stuck on something. I don't know what it is about that, but sometimes when you get hung up, just kind of letting it sit there for a sec and being able to manipulate that fly just a little bit can bring you another fish you wouldn't have otherwise got. Knew there was a brown in there. Felt him tick a couple times, but wasn't able to get him to commit, and that time we did. There we go. He's already off. Nice, pretty wild brown. That's gonna wrap it up here on this little stream for Tightlining Maryland. I appreciate you tuning back in. If you haven't already subscribed, I would highly advocate that you give it a shot. Today we were able to net some really gorgeous and nice wild browns, so thank you for tuning in to check that out as we got them on the streamer. But overall, it was a successful day. We were able to get some fish on nymphs, we were able to get some fish on streamers, and that's how we're gonna end it here. So thanks for subscribing, commenting, liking, and tight lines. Wish everybody luck the next time you hit the stream.